A certain well-educated French Jew who was highly skeptical and cynical about any belief in spiritual and metaphysical realities once came to the town of Lubavitch. And when he heard the Rebbe Rashab saying Hasidus and discussing various levels of angels and souls, he was incredulous. So when he got a chance to talk to the Rebbe Rashab one-on-one, he said to the Rebbe that since none of these concepts can be proven, and since they don't make any logical sense, and since he doesn't understand how these things could possibly be true, he has come to the conclusion that in fact none of these things are real and that angels and souls actually don't exist. And the Rebbe Rashab said, let me tell you a parable. There was once two French intellectuals who were traveling together on a wagon. And while the wagon driver was up front whipping the horses and urging them onwards, the two of them sat engrossed in a deep philosophical discussion where they talked about deep and profound ideas in their finest and most sophisticated French. And the Rebbe Rashab went on to say that there are three separate perspectives, three separate and distinct realities, three separate thought processes and headspaces occurring on this trip simultaneously. There is the perspective of the horses, and all they think about, and the only thought which is filling their minds and filling their universe, is the thought of fodder and hay, all the food that they will be able to eat once they reach the stables. Then there's the perspective of the wagon driver, and all he's thinking about, and all he cares about and is excited about, is all the vodka and beer that he'll be able to drink once they reach their destination. And finally, there is the perspective of the two French intellectuals who are fully immersed, fully engrossed in this discussion. And all they care about, the only thing in the world that matters to them in that moment, are the ideas and the concepts and the possibilities that they are busy discussing. And the Rebbe Rashab concluded by saying these words: just because the horses don't understand French, does that mean that the Frenchmen aren't Frenchmen? Does that mean that the Frenchmen aren't real? In other words, just because you have such a limited perspective, just because you have such a narrow, shallow, and childish conception of reality, that doesn't mean that the spiritual realities discussed in Hasidus aren't real. And many decades after the story took place, the Rebbe was once farbrengen, and he was discussing and he was talking about how Mashiach's arrival is imminent, and how through our efforts and our actions, we can bring Mashiach right now, we can actualize Mashiach reality. And in the middle of the talk, the Rebbe made reference to the story, and he said that just because there's someone in the crowd who doesn't see and doesn't feel that Mashiach's arrival is imminent, even if there's someone in the crowd who doesn't feel and doesn't see and doesn't sense that through their actions they could bring Mashiach right now, that is analogous to the horses in the story who are completely oblivious to the ideas and the concepts being discussed right in front of their faces. Their thickness doesn't make it any less of a reality, their denseness doesn't make it any less real. And the bottom line is that Mashiach is coming very, very, very soon, with or without you, whether you're ready or not. And we all have a choice to make in these final moments of exile and these final moments of Golus. We can either live through these final moments of exile in a lowly, animalistic headspace, with our heads buried in the mud, completely out for lunch, completely not with the program, completely oblivious to real, true, mature, objective terror reality. Or we can choose to open up our eyes and to see and to witness and to live and to experience Mashiach's arrival as it unfolds all around us. So the choice is yours, the choice is ours, and let's bring Mashiach together.